I now call this regular meeting of the Crosby Township Board of Trustees, May the 11th, 2020, to order. Let's stand for the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mr. Dole,
Present.
Mr. Lohman,
Present.
Mr. Niehaus,
Present.
You want minutes?
Approval for the minutes, regular meeting of April 13th, 2020.
I'll make that motion to approve.
Second.
Any changes?
Seeing, nope.
Roll call.
Mr. Dole,
Yes.
Mr. Lohman,
Yes.
Mr. Niehaus,
Yes. Approval to pay the bills as presented.
I make a motion to pay the bills.
I'll second that.
Roll call.
Mr. Dole,
Yes.
Mr. Lohman,
Yes.
Mr. Niehaus.
Yes. Correspondence. Mr. Dole.
I have none.
Mr. Lohman.
We'd gotten a thing from Denise Driehaus that if for any small businesses in Hamilton County, of course, Crosby Townships in Hamilton County, that if they have not participated in a federal loan, they have 50 or fewer employees and gross less than $1 million a year, they qualify up to a $10,000 loan from Hamilton County. If interested, Denise Driehaus's website would have the information for that. Could possibly also be a forgivable loan. You also have to prove that you've had a 50% decrease in revenue since the virus pandemic. So that's all I have.
And one other thing on that, you gotta have a storefront.
Oh, okay.
You can't just have I think out of your house, you have to have an actual storefront, I think it says on there. Don't it?
Probably. If you saw that, I didn't read it. That
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
that's helped for mainly for payroll. You have to have one full-time employee. I think that you would be helping cover with it.
Great.
Okay. The only thing I got is from Butler Rural Electric. They will, if you need assistance, you can contact them and they can send you assistance for COVID-19 thing. So, I think that's it.
What do you mean by assistance? Like,
Find you assistance, I guess, to somebody to help pay, or they'll.
oh, okay. Like financial assistance? Oh, okay.
Assistance, or let you not pay, but they recommend that you pay something so that you don't, because your bill's growing,
Right.
you know, so. Okay, next thing is the sheriff's report, and I have that here. Criminal reports, 4/9/2020, 2020. Suspects entered Arbor Care LLC lot, removed a hood from a Ford truck. Had open burning, open dumping. Unknown persons placed used tires on victims' property during the overnight hours. Same thing happened last year. Corporal Brian Peak, the environmental officer, he's been made aware of it. It's, you know where I'm talking about. It was at Etherton's house down there. There's probably 100 tires. And I'd like to say, if anybody sees anybody doing that, you know, to call the sheriff's office, because that's the second time they dumped them tires there. We had a robbery. It happened at 11/6/20 State Route 128. It was, the robbery happened amongst friends. 3 people in the car, I think, and they got in an argument, and one robbed the other one and stole his car. The guy was beating on the guy. He jumped out of his car, and then the guy stole his car. So, and the other one was, weapons under disability. A subject fired a handgun at a victim after finding him with his girlfriend. So, and there were 3 cases were signed for investigation in Crosby Township. 3 signed cases were closed. There was no stolen property recovered by detectives during this reported thing. So that's about it. And they're just saying that they're still with the COVID-19. They're still running the township. That I guess they're more safer when they're pulling people over on what they're pulling them over for and stuff like that. And there were 88 calls for service in Crosby Township in the last month. And there's another thing about another shots were fired in New Haven too, which I think that's in the same place all the time, and they can't catch them. So that's that. And on that, I was talking to Corporal Peak and Tom Canada, who run our special detail, and I was thinking that maybe they bring their cars home, that we could, a nice night when they have nothing to do, jump in their car and eat in the nighttime and drive around some, because I think
Just to be seen.
just to be seen at this time, because with nobody going anywhere, as soon as it gets warm, I think things are going to pick up on around town, troubles once they start, I think. That's my opinion. I don't know you guys' opinion. I thought, if they can just jump in and we pay them a couple extra hours, and whenever they do it whenever, and, just to be seen out and
Right.
about.
This is when it starts.
Because I think it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Because kids have been closed up for 2 months now. So, that's just my opinion.
Pretty good.
So I guess it's all right to tell them
Yeah.
if they want to do it, to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. And that's it on sheriff. Public at large, anybody in there?
I guess there's a number to call that if people have questions, and we'll address them at the end of the meeting. Should be on the
Yes,
screen.
they are. The number is posted on the TV screen to call that number. And you can always call us after the meeting on our cell phones, or tomorrow, or whenever. If you watch it later on, you can call just like normal,
Right.
or email us. Okay, reports, legal. He ain't here. Maintenance, there's nothing really happening. Work on the building. That's another thing. On the new building, to get this going, one of us has to be in charge. You can't wait to make decisions. Now I got a layout from a company that was referred to by Ken Scherzinger. He kind of like sets everything up, and then he draws a drawing. We tell him what we want, he's gonna set everything, he'll set everything up, the drawing, and he'll take care of everything. Then you hire, you can pick everything you want in the whole list of things to
Right. Is he
what you want him to do, and then he'll give you us a price. So I guess my thing is meet with him over there and tell him what the building we want, and then go from there. So, I don't know. I've been a trustee for just my 15th year, and you're too, but we've never really,
Right.
done
Taking
it,
on
too.
a big project such as this. No.
so, how do you do it?
Is Harry pretty involved? I mean, he would know more what we need than.
Yeah, he's
I mean,
involved, but you gotta vote on
Right.
stuff, and
Right.
will be, how do you do it? You gotta wait every month to make a decision?
Yeah, pretty much. Unless we do special meetings in between.
I guess Wilhelm, we approved that already, right? to
Wilhelm's
clear the land.
approved on that. This is the
Right.
this is building the building. And basically, getting everything, you know, the drawings, and you gotta pay for drawings and all that. So, should I meet with this guy? It's RJM Consulting. They're over in Blue Jay View in Cleves, Ohio. I think it's over in the Blue Jay.
Is he an architect or just a building contractor or all?
He's a design builder.
A design build
Yeah, and
consultant?
he'll send it out. Then once he gets it all drawn, by understanding, he'll send this out for bids, how we want it. He handles all that too.
Being somewhat
he-
of the manager,
Yeah,
yeah.
then he advises you of, you know, which one, if there's something wrong with the bid, you don't want him because of this and that.
Right.
So, do you want me to go ahead with it, or
Yeah, I mean,
we gotta start somewhere?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. I think
Okay.
somebody's got to grab it by the horns.
I mean, it
You've
just
been
basically,
involved with it so far.
it just basically, I mean, you can, it's the temporary road, temporary utilities, final clean, job signs, rubbish removal, which we're doing, office expenses, blueprints and copies, soil bearings, soil compaction, with the stuff that they put in the proposal. Building permits, tap fees, they go through all that. He sends it all out, what we want. And then a lot of the stuff we're not gonna need because we don't have it there. you
Right.
know. But then you just tell him how big you're gonna, and he kinda lays everything out, the site work and site concrete, landscape, all his requirements, you know, for PSI on the concretes and all that stuff that that we want, and he writes it in there, and then he
I think
fills it out, and then he sends it out for bid.
he's acting like the architect or general
Yeah,
consultant.
it's a design build thing. He
Right.
designs it and then build it, and, 'cause,
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I think in the past, they pretty much had someone who did this exact same thing when they built the building.
yeah.
You know, let the consultant handle it all, and trustees just approved, you know.
Yeah, we get watch
No,
over
we
them and
don't- right.
everything.
If you don't like anything, then it's a time, then we could talk about it and say, you know, call a special meeting or whatever it takes.
All right. We'll go with that. That's it.
yeah, if you have to have a special meeting in between the meetings, we'll have to do that. If
Yeah,
we
we'll
just
have
have a
to do
quick
it.
meeting, if we need to look at something and vote on it, and
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, if he gets back with me, if I tell him to go ahead and meet with him and tell him what we was wanting, the building size and doors and whatever, and heat, and he's gonna ask me, he said he's got about 16 questions he's gotta ask me, then then he goes from there, then he'll come back and
Right.
just give us a quote of what it's gonna cost for him to do all his stuff from there, and then.
Okay. Yeah, and we don't have
And
to
he'll send it out for bids, and he'll handle,
handling
he'll
that.
be there when we open the bids or whatever, and do that. So, find out more from that when we get further along. All right?
Perfect.
Okay. Who's next?
Fire EMS.
What?
Fire EMS.
Fire and EMS. We have no report
We
from.
don't have a report. I did hear from WestJet, and their next meeting will be July the 8th, I believe. It's a Thursday. So both you guys could make it. I think they're gonna get a report back from both chiefs, you know, had been meeting together about, you know, future plans. They've been putting off the meetings, of course, because of the same reason, the COVID thing, but that's the latest, was July the 8th.
Them's at 5:30, right?
Yeah, down
Is
at
it Miami
Miami
Town?
Town, yeah,
at the fire station there.
Yeah,
at
down
West
behind it.
Jad's, right next to it.
Is that it?
That's it. That's all I got.
Community coordinator didn't have no report.
She's been busy.
Yeah, she's been busy, but I don't think she had anything. Fiscal officer,
Yeah,
Anthony Wallace.
I'll be looking into this a little bit closer in the next couple weeks and probably be sending you guys an email, but it's I got a notice from someone with the county that it's going to be time for the budgeting process for next year. And so we're going to need to be working on that. And another thing that I wanted to bring up, fiscal related, is I put one of these in each of your mailboxes. They sent me a handful of these. And really the reason why I put it in there and what I particularly noticed is, and I guess for the record, this is a pamphlet published by Hamilton County called 2020 Budget in Brief, and it basically just breaks down where the revenues for the county comes from, what they're spent on. It kind of it talks about a little bit about local governments like ours, not a ton though. The real thing that caught my eye is when it comes to the general fund revenues by source for the county, the largest by far revenue source for the county, and then, that would be us as well, is sales tax. Almost 40% of the general fund for the county. The sales tax, it's anyone's guess right now as to how this county sales tax revenues for 2020 are going to be affected by the stay-in-place orders and such. And our township has always operated extremely conservatively. A little bit easier to do that. We're the lowest population township in the county as well. But I just wanted to bring that to your attention in the meeting, so that from a cash flow perspective, everyone is of an understanding that no matter what is budgeted, cash flow may be a different story no matter what government we're talking about in the county from here to the end of the year. And there's no indication on exactly how much. I haven't seen any numbers. I don't think there could be any solid numbers put out on that. I know that the county has asked every department, including my full-time job at the Hamilton County Prosecutor's Office, to I believe they were requested to cut 20% across the board. So it's significant and it's real, and I don't see how it wouldn't affect us from now to the end of the year. Just wanted to.
Yeah, I can see it affecting us, especially when he talks about the sheriffs, because they've been for years always saying they're going to cut the patrols out in our area, and if the county's hurting for money, I know that they asked the sheriff already to make cuts.
Well, and another thing related to that particular piece is the current sheriff, which previously had expressed a pretty strong commitment to keeping the patrols in our western townships intact, was just defeated in the primary election.
Yeah.
So who knows?
Yeah. So who knows now? Yep. I mean, I guess we always complain that we only have property tax, and we totally operate on property tax. But, so it's somewhat not affected by the sales tax, but we are affected by the sales tax because of like the sheriff and some of the other services we receive from the county.
Yeah. I guess it's a little bit, yeah, you're right. I mean, with the sales tax, it doesn't directly affect it, but I know that that's affecting, it affects everything else, kind of with a trickle-down effect. I mean, I know that the county treasurer has delayed the date to pay second half property taxes by, I think, 2 weeks. I think that it's natural to think that the receipts are going to be slow on that.
Yeah.
There may be adjustments on the the value of properties as well.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? And and property taxes are one of the other large pieces of revenue as well. So anyway, just wanted to bring that up, especially now that we've got a building project on our hands. I'm not saying anything should change or whatever, but there'll definitely, and the other thing with the budgeting process is there'll definitely need to be taking a look at our individual accounts. It won't be a simple rollover from last year, obviously,
Right.
because there's a lot of expenses that are coming in. There was a lot of it. There's right now there's a lot of small expenses that were unexpected that come in related to supplies, related to this COVID stuff as well, like from the fire department and things like that.
Right.
So
Yeah, and so next month's meeting, we're gonna probably have to set a budget
yeah,
meeting date
right.
also, yeah, for July. Because don't we have to have the budget by the end of July or something?
Yeah,
Temporary
that's what it
budget?
is.
Okay.
That's all for me.
Zoning, I guess we gotta set a date for the Marjon thing, or,
At the last meeting, we said that at this meeting, we would be setting a date in June for that hearing.
I guess we can always set one towards the very end of the month and then.
According to the meeting minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, but we're the same thing, it's like,
I know we said it, but do we?
but
set-
then the governor extended it till the end of May now, or whatever.
Yeah. So I guess the only thing we can do is go towards the end of June and then,
Yeah. Let's just shoot for June the 29th. That's a Monday.
that's as far as down as way we can get.
That's
in
about as
June.
far down as, yeah, or the 30th.
So that'd be at 7 o'clock at the Township Center.
Yeah,
June the 29th. Marjon. 7 o'clock.
Well, we'll know by the next meeting if that's still on.
yeah, if, right, and we can cancel it at the next meeting
At
if
the
it,
next meeting, we'll find, in June, we'll
Hopefully
find
we'll
out.
know more what's going
And we
on.
can change it again if we have to. And
right.
that's, we said we would set a date, so
That sounds like a winner.
Did we get a report from zoning? I mean, are they still issuing any permits or anything?
yeah, Rick's doing it all from his house and on the phone and whatever, so. So there must not be anything that's to a concern, I guess, because he would have brought it up to us as on appeals or something like that, I think.
Yeah.
Is that a meeting of the zoning board or a meeting of the trustees?
As a meeting of trustees.
For the zoning appeals.
Zoning appeal? Okay, thank
Right.
you.
How do you do that? How do you write that?
It went in front of the,
You
for
know,
a,
it went-
for a zone change.
So, yeah, it's for zoning, or meetings for zoning, Marjon.
Right, but
I
it
believe
was,
the zoning
it was a zone change in front of
requested and it
the,
was declined. So
by
it
the
was-
zoning
it's-
commission.
So it's an appeal to the trustees.
Yes, and now it's an appeal to the
That's
trustees.
and that's a public meeting, right? So,
Public meeting, so it's
I
gotta
need
be,
to contact the newspaper and publish that?
correct.
Yep.
When it gets clear.
You what?
Do you
I
want,
say when it gets closer.
Yeah.
anybody know what the days ahead is on that?
At least 2 weeks.
2 weeks, okay, so I'll be able to do that.
For the meeting,
Shouldn't be,
should be able to.
okay, yeah.
Well,
Just so it's
There's a
published
week
2 weeks.
buffer in between the June meeting is early. It's on the 8th.
Oh, there you go.
Because you're on the 29th, so
Should be all right.
that'll give me enough time to
Yeah,
get that in
exactly.
and
June
get that
meeting, yeah.
published.
Yep.
first is Monday, so yeah.
I think it's perfect timing.
Yeah, because after the meeting, you could call down Tuesday and tell her
Correct.
that that it's gotta be in the
Have it
paper.
in
Yeah, and
next
she'll have it in the following week, and then
Yeah.
that's a 2-week notice, easy.
Got it.
And that's it. Old business, Mr. Dole,
I have none.
Mr. Loman.
I guess a lot of this is review, but just all the things that are canceled, the Crosby cleanup, which may take place in the fall, the Memorial Day Parade, the Strickers Grove, and then just so people know, the Township Center's closed. And that's by order of the governor, so it's not just us doing it. Also with the parade, that's listed also as a, and then also like at the playground and not be able to use swings and stuff. Anything that multiple people would touch can't be used, so if, someone sees the swings are wrapped up in caution tape, it's because that's coming from the governor, not just us doing that. Then the only other thing is the census again to do. I did mine online, and it only took like 10 minutes. It was really easy, so. A lot of
Yeah.
people, if you're quarantined at home and you haven't done it, just
10
get on your
minutes.
computer and do it, and it helps our township out a lot for the next 10 years. It's a lot of money that we lose if you don't do it, so do it. And
Good point.
that's all I got.
And I'll tell you this, I did it on the computer too, and if I can do it, and nobody in township has an excuse that they can't do it, because I did it.
I'm the
It was
same
that
way.
eady, I did it, by myself.
And there's 6 of us in our house, so I did it in like 10 minutes, because you have to
Yeah.
list each dependent, so.
That's pretty good.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go on something that Doug had talked about, about the Strickers Grove Crosby days being closed. And there's only one date that they had open unless somebody else cancels if it ends up opening later in the year. And I thought, well, I think you said something last meeting, not in the meeting, but as we was walking out, we could always do that on a Wednesday or Thursday or some night,
Mm-hmm.
from 6 to 10, so,
Right.
and that would help out Strickers Grove themselves, if, once it gets cleared, we just doing it.
Yeah, it doesn't
on
have
an
to be on a
evening.
weekend.
Yeah, it don't have to be a weekend. We can do a Friday night or Thursday night, Wednesday night, and,
Yeah.
in the summertime, and
Mm-hmm.
go from that. That way, they don't lose the money, and it's in, it's our township, it's one of our business in our township. We could be
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they'd
helping
appreciate
out.
it.
Yeah, and I think they would appreciate it,
Yeah.
and that we did something like that, and then go from there. But if they get to open up,
Right.
I think that would be great, because you go by there sometimes in the weekend, there's something going on there.
Mm-hmm. They usually got
A lot of
something.
picnics for unions and
There's-
stuff.
Yep, there's churches on Thursday
Yeah.
nights, does a lot of them. They cut them a break, and Friday nights. And
So, that's something we can kind of
Sure.
think about, once we hear that they can open up, and,
People are sometimes less busy during the week anyway
yeah,
than they are on the weekends.
yeah. So, that's it for me. Mr. Dole, new business?
no new business. We kind of talked about it.
Mr. Loman, new business?
Nope.
I have none. Any other concerns out there? Wait for Brenda.
Any phone calls?
Do I hear a phone
Any phone
ringing?
calls?
Maybe she's on the phone.
Hate to yell at Brenda. She's watching it, right?
She's busy writing down questions.
Should I walk back? None? You're all good. Well, hearing no other concerns, I need a motion to adjourn
I'll make that motion.
I will second it.
at 7:29.
Would you like a roll call?
The roll call, it ain't on here.
It
Well,
will be next month.
that assumes the motion had been made.
Yeah, the roll call,
Mr. Dole,
Yes.
Mr. Loman,
Yes.
Mr. Niehaus,
yes. And the next regular business meeting will be June the 8th, 2020 at 7 PM. Yeah, shouldn't that be in front of that?
Place to be determined.
Yeah, place to be determined. That's it.
Yeah, usually it's in front of
Oh,
that.
you still on? I want to thank ICRC again for letting Crosby Township do this. It's really helping us out. So thanks for everybody at ICRC, and thanks Brenda Jackson for getting this all set up for us these last 2 months, and I hope it's the last month, but this works great here, so thanks everybody that's involved with letting us do this.
Appreciate it.
That's it.